Hola a todos y bienvenidos. Welcome back. I'm Andrew Barr and this is Real Fast Spanish. In this video, we're going to answer a viewer's question. If you ever have the chance to go over que and de que, that would be amazing. So thanks so much for the question. Let's jump into it. Now, when it comes to the choice of que versus de que, we always have to consider what else is in the sentence. So let's compare these two examples. I think that it's important. Creo que es importante. I'm sure that it's important. Estoy seguro de que es importante. Now notice with these two sentences that que es importante is the same. And before that, we can swap creo and estoy seguro de. So in this second sentence, estoy seguro de que es importante, the de belongs to the phrase estoy seguro de. Now this will pretty much always be the case, that if a de que appears, it's because of something else in the sentence. Now another example, I remember that it rained at the wedding. Recuerdo que llovió en la boda. Now in Spanish, we can translate this sentence using another verb for remembering, and we get me acuerdo de que llovió en la boda. Now again, when we compare these two sentences, que llovió en la boda is the same, and we can swap out recuerdo and me acuerdo de. In fact, this is a common lesson in Spanish, recordar versus acordarse, for remembering things. Now, I've written an article on the blog on this topic, and I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to read about these two verbs. And if you want to find out about other free articles we share, we have a free weekly newsletter. I'll also leave a link below in the description. Now, another place where you might see a confusing choice between que and de que is at the start of questions. For example, what color is the pen? ¿De qué color es el bolígrafo? And then sometimes in Spanish, bolígrafo gets shortened. Spanish natives might say, ¿de qué color es el boli? Now in this example, the de goes with the word color. You're trying to identify the color of something. Now, a response to this question could be, the pen is blue. El bolígrafo es azul. Now notice that we don't have the word color in the answer. Now in contrast, we could also say, el bolígrafo es de color azul. Now the word color appears in the sentence, and so we need the de. Now we could also ask, what color is this? ¿Qué color es este? Now we're not trying to identify the color of the tissue box, the caja de pañuelos. We're just trying to identify this color. Right? The tissue box is irrelevant. So in this case, we don't need the de, and an answer could be, this color is purple. Este color es morado. Now again, we don't need the de in the answer, so we don't need the de in the question. Now before we wrap up, we need to discuss an advanced part of que and de que, and that is that Spanish natives don't always get this right. It's very similar to me, myself, and I in English. There are traditional rules for me, myself, and I, but English natives nowadays, they don't always follow them. And the same thing happens with que and de que. In fact, there is a name in Spanish when this occurs. If there should be a que, traditionally, and natives say de que, this is known as dequeísmo. And then when there should be a de que, and natives only say que, this is known as queísmo. So for example, I'm sure you're going to do it. Yo estoy segura de que lo vas a lograr.
Yo estoy segura de que lo vas a lograr.
And then same actress, same show, different scene. I'm sure it's fake. Es que estoy segura que es falso.
Es que estoy segura que es falso.
Now this second sentence, estoy segura que, is an example of queísmo because traditionally there would be a de que here, and she did use de que in the other scene. Now for the opposite, dequeísmo, in my experience, this isn't as common, and I couldn't find any examples from TV shows or movies to share with you, but an example might be, I think we should wait a little bit. Opino de que debemos esperar un poco, when this traditionally should be opino que debemos esperar un poco. And so the first case, opino de que, would be dequeísmo, but as I mentioned, this isn't as common. So if natives get this wrong, what should you do? Well, if I'm teaching English and a student says to me, me and my friend went to the park, I don't see this as a big deal because millions of English natives around the world talk like this. So if you say, estoy seguro que, and you forget the de, you're doing a queísmo, I don't think it's a big deal because lots of Spanish natives speak this way. That said, English natives are very unlikely to say myself and my friend went to the park. That sentence sounds really wrong, right? So I would recommend that students of English avoid this. And so in today's lesson, for you as a Spanish student, you've seen that estoy seguro que happens often, but you're unlikely to find that the de is missing in de qué color es el boli. And so this is a case of paying attention and understanding that que and de que have traditional patterns that are worth knowing, and sometimes natives will break these patterns, in which case it's okay for you to do it too. But if natives always use de que, or they always use que, then you'll need to replicate that so that your Spanish can sound more natural. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe if you aren't already. It really does help the channel. And then leave any questions or comments you have in the comment section below. Okay, until next time, habla mejor, entiende más.